They say some land in the Northern Territory is cursed, not by storms or drought or snakes, but by something older, something that remembers. Just 30 minutes outside Darwin, beyond the red dust roads and twisted gum trees, sits a forgotten patch of farmland. Locals don't talk about it, maps don't mark it, and at night, no one drives past it, not even truckers. In 2023, a young couple, Emily and Jacob, bought the property. They wanted solitude. They wanted out of the city. The house was old, but had charm, they thought. Wide verandas, tin roof, cracked walls with stories to tell. They moved in with their dog, 2 crates of records, and dreams of raising chickens. But the land, it had other plans. It began the first night, not with a bang, but a silence. The kind that presses into your ears like deep water. No birds, no wind, just stillness. Emily said it felt like the air was watching her. The next day, the dog went missing, vanished without a sound. No paw prints, no blood, just an open back gate, swinging slowly, though there'd been no wind. Then came the scratching. At night, something clawed the outside walls. Long, slow drags of nails over wood. Jacob thought it was a dingo. He stayed up with a flashlight, but nothing ever appeared. Just the sound. Every night. Closer. Emily started sleepwalking. He'd find her in the hallway, barefoot, whispering names they didn't know. Her eyes always open, blank. Then the dream started. Always the same. A man standing in the bush, shirtless and burnt, staring at them. Eyes black as coal, rope marks around his neck. He didn't move, didn't blink, just waited. Jacob found an old journal under the floorboards. Pages torn, but a few words still legible. Names, a date, 1876, and a line scrawled in shaking ink. They watched him burn. Now, he watches back. They dug through council records, found nothing, no name, no incident, just a gap, a missing year in the property's history. On the 8th night, Emily screamed. She said he was in the room. She saw him in the mirror, his face behind hers. She ran into the yard. Jacob followed. The ground was soft, too soft, like something had been dug up. They called the police, but when they arrived, there was no trace of what they saw. No signs of anything, just a patch of earth that smelled of fire and blood. Jacob refused to leave. Emily begged. That night, the scratching came from inside the walls. At 3:33 a.m., all the windows shattered at once. Every mirror cracked. Every light bulb exploded. And from the radio, though it wasn't plugged in, they heard a voice. Low, croaking. It spoke only one word. Justice. The next morning, Emily was gone. No note, no signs of struggle. Just her shoes by the door and a trail of ash leading out into the bush. Jacob stayed. He set up cameras, locked every door. He spoke to no one. 2 weeks later, a neighbor drove past and saw the house on fire. But when firefighters arrived, there was no flame, no smoke, just the house untouched. Inside, Jacob was sitting at the kitchen table, alive, eyes open, but not moving. His fingernails had been ripped off, and on the walls, written in dried blood, were the words, "Now you burn too." They say he disappeared that night. No body, no sign. The land was abandoned again, quiet, still, until a new listing appeared online. Charming rural fixer-upper, ideal for couples, great potential, and the scratching started again. But that isn't the end. The real story goes back further than 1876. The truth was buried, just like the man they tried to erase. His name was Callum Mercer. an English convict turned stockman, wrongly accused of stealing from his employer. One night, a group of vigilantes came to his hut. They beat him, tied him to a post, set fire to the grass around him. His screams carried for miles, but no one helped. Before he died, they say he stared straight at the ringleader and whispered a curse. "The ground you sleep on will never forget." And it hasn't. In 1903, the farmhouse burned to the ground. The couple living there were never found. In 1947, a family moved in and all 4 children went missing within 6 months. In 1972, a man went mad, boarded up every window, and dug a tunnel beneath the shed where he later died, buried under the very soil he feared. Each time the house is rebuilt, it begins again. The silence, the scratching, the dreams, the land remembers, and it always wants more. There's footage now from Jacob's cameras. The authorities won't release it, but one image leaked. A figure in the hallway, blurry but unmistakable, shirtless, eyes black, neck ringed in ash. He doesn't move. He waits. The land is still listed, cheaper now. Agents say it's a steal, but no one asks why. And if you drive by late at night, they say the porch light flickers on, just for a second, just long enough to see a shape standing there, waiting for someone to come home. Locals say sometimes the old mailbox opens on its own, not from wind, not from animals, just open sand inside. You'll find an envelope, blank, empty, until you touch it. Then your name appears in ash. In town, there's a mural on the side of the pub, painted decades ago. It shows the landscape at dusk, bush trees stretching across a blood-red sky. And in the corner, almost too faint to see, is a man, shirtless, burning, still staring. The paint never fades. They've tried, power washed it, painted over it. It always returns. Old-timers say the curse isn't just tied to the land, it's tied to the guilt, to every soul that stood by, silent, when they watched a man suffer, every descendant, every family who profited, every passerby who heard the screams and turned away. Some say if you hear the scratching, it's already too late. Others say there's still a way out, that if you stand in the clearing at midnight, place your hand on the soil, and ask for forgiveness not from God, but from Callum himself, he might spare you. Might. But no one's ever come back to say if it works, because those who go seeking peace find fire, and the house keeps their voices. They say if you walk past the fence line just before sunrise, you can hear them. Whispers in the dirt, screams in the floorboards. The land doesn't forget, and it never forgives.
There's a shadow in the hallway and a voice beneath